So here we have a look at the software installation for the OfficeJet 8040 printer. And what we're going to get here first is this screen. And all we have to do here is click continue as long as the printer is turned on, ink's installed, and there's paper. So we're going to click continue here, and you've got 6 pieces of software that are going to be installed by default. The product improvement study, HP update, Iris OCR, the help files, HP photo creations, and smart print. You can also click customize here and uncheck any of these softwares that you don't want. But for now, we're going to just go ahead and install them all. Does come included with Google Toolbar. I would uncheck that personally. Click next. You do have to agree to the terms, and then we can click next again. And it's going to go through the process of installing the software. Once it's completed installing the software, you make your selection of how you want to connect to the printer. So I'm going to select wireless since I already set up the printer with the wireless settings. Click next, and it's going to check the network. Should find the printer and on the network already. And right now it's asking us for the IP address, which I happen to know. If you don't know it, it is displayed in the printer options. It goes through the process of then installing the printer on the computer so that we can print to it. And it's going to run through a small setup process. Once you've gone through that, a web services sheet prints out on the printer and gives you a little bit more information for how to connect it to the web services. Next, it moves on to the fax setup. I'm actually going to hit skip on this because I don't have it plugged into a phone line. However, if you do want to use the fax service, you would just answer these questions and follow the prompts. Really, all it's going to ask you about is your phone number and stuff like that. And it's going to ask you some information about your printer. This is in my home, so I'm using it for personal use. Going to put in your zip code, and it's going to set up the printer settings based on that. Once you've completed that setup, it moves on to is setting up the activating and registering your printer. So this does require an HP account. Um, if you set that up, all you really have to do is fill in this information and create a password and then click activate, and it will activate the Neat software. Or we can click close without activating. However, I do recommend you take advantage of the Neat software, especially since it's free for 3 years with the printer. So I'm going to go ahead and fill out this information and click activate. Once you've completed that setup, it prompts you to set up the HP Instant Ink. I do recommend that you set that up if you are a frequent printer or something like that, because the fact of the matter is then you can control your ink costs like I mentioned before. Of course, if you bought this printer, you're probably interested in the Neat software, so it brings you to set that up as well. Click finish, and it gives you a little bit of information on the activating your software and brings up this to verify your account or set up your Neat account. So I'm going to actually set up a Neat account here and for use with my printer. Once I have everything set up, I went into the HP 8040 printing information. There's a button here to go to the HP Connected Center, and you also can customize your printer by changing the name and settings for it. That just kind of opens up the printing information on your system. You can see the print queue. You can also maintain your printer by aligning, cleaning cartridges and printing diagnostic pages. You can set the preferences for it, like defaults of how you want the printer to function. And you can also print from your mobile phone and things like that. So this gives you information on how to use the HP mobile service. And if we click Get Started here, it will give you the information based on the type of device that you actually want to use, and give you a little video here as well. So what we can do is you can also text yourself the information on how to get the print service plugin set up for the HP printing. You also can scan a document from here, manage scanning to your computer over the network, and also set the fax information up and manage the faxing. You, of course, have the shop to be able to get ink cartridges and things like that, utilities, updating the software itself, updating the IP address of your printer, and doing the study as well as printing, scanning, diagnostics basically, and printer setup so you can change things on the printer after the fact. You of course have the estimated ink levels. So when that first pops up, it brings up the HP Instant Ink status. I don't have HP Instant Ink cartridges in the printer right now, so it tells you that there's a problem. But if we go over to estimated ink levels, it will show us that. You also have the device information, which will give you all kinds of great things with the information on the printer. And you can get information on the instant ink and cartridge protection plan, as well as set some advanced settings for the printer itself here. Anyways, that's pretty much the setup for the printer and the software installation and checking out all the ability of the software itself for the printer. One thing I would recommend is that if you're savvy, definitely go into your router and static out the IP or reserve the IP address for the printer so that it stays the same. That'll make your life easier if so things don't change on you and then all of a sudden things break. I found that that is something that you pretty much have to do with a lot of wireless printers to get them to work perfectly all the time and never have to worry about it. So it's just a little tip for you. Hopefully you found this video informative and useful to you. So definitely stay tuned. Check out the full review at hightechlegion.com and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter pages. Take care.